What's going on, my people? Welcome to another episode of the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm your host, Earl Christian III, of course, aka Big Business. Right now, we're down in Midtown Manhattan, the Fashion District, and I'm sitting with an amazing brother that's doing some serious things, been doing some serious things in the hip-hop culture and just culturally, period. I'm talking about my man, Willie Escobar. You're going to hear from this brother. You can hear about the inspiration behind Willie Escobar. You're going to hear about the inspiration behind his new line, Blanco Label, and see where he's going with it. Some music, amazing situation. We got a lot of things happening. So without further ado, my man Willie Escobar. What's good, bruh?
What's up, Earl? Pleasure to meet you.
Of course, man. It's good seeing you here.
AKA Big Business, right?
Yeah, you know what it is.
Okay, let me give you my business card on the camera. So
I need that's what I'm talking about. So, we met about a couple of weeks back at an event, and it was a serious situation. I was like, I want to come out here and talk to you. So I want to let my people know the history of Willie Escobar. When did this brother know fashion is what I want to do?
I knew fashion is something I loved probably around the age of 5 when I brought my first outfit for kindergarten, grade school pictures. And I recognized that I did put a little collection together so I could take some nice shots. That's one thing that I remember. The second thing, I got into graffiti, early age. Hip-hop was fledgling art. Graffiti was one aspect of it. Fashion had yet to be an aspect of it. Breakdancing was another part I took into one of the facets of hip-hop, and I was good at all that, but it ended up being where fashion and that graffiti really took hold, and the artistic expression that manifested itself in clothing. When the early pioneers of fashion clothing and urban started, which was Patrick Kelly, like I mentioned earlier, Cross Colors, that whole clique in, I'm gonna say mid-90s, right, really put urban and gave us a foothold to get into the marketplace.
Yeah. I remember, being in college and post-college, rocking the Willie Escobar and seeing, I think I used to see, there was some entertainment cats, some rappers rocking it, putting it down. And I was like, this is what it is. Now, I know, like I was talking to some cats earlier, a lot of young people want to get into the game. They not necessarily know the direction, and unfortunately, early on, like we were talking, in the beginning, we did not necessarily have individuals. So sometimes, you were saying some of your interns and brothers might be spoiled because they may not recognize and realize some of the hard, sweat and tears you got to go in to get to this opportunity. But I want to, just go into it. So when you started Willie Escobar, and you talked about your inspiration, and you knew you wanted to do it, the next thing you did, I got to get this out there. I need people to know what I'm about. I need people to support my vision. How tough and how tenacious did you have to be to get your vision seen and heard?
Well, first and foremost, I got to express to all the youngsters out there, everybody trying to get into the fashion game, it's kind of tough right now because fashion is a luxury. You don't really need fashion in your life. So in times like this, global recession times, you really can buy a basic Fruit of the Loom t-shirt and make sure you're covered. But fashion is a luxury, and the only way you survive is to sort of nurture all your talents. I went to school for this, graduated from FIT, and sort of was going into fashion with the one concept. It was my hobby that I loved, and I was going to make money off of it. If you go into anything that you do in life with that perspective, you're probably going to be successful because that's what you love to do, and you'll find any ways and means to do it. So if you go in and nurture that talent, build it up, and find that when you're in business, if you can compete with the top dogs in it, then there's no reason why you can't beat all the top dogs in it. So when I got into the business of graffiti and all that stuff, I was really distant from the concept of being able to be a fashion designer because there was no one doing that. The first couple guys that were doing it was iffy, didn't know if it was possible, and really didn't know if the genre was going to be successful at all. So in the beginning was very testy, but I did realize that either or, whatever happens, successful or not, I was going to be happy working in my industry. That was no matter what. If I didn't make it, I'd still be happy making and designing $2 skirts. No problem. So I want you guys to come into the business with that attitude, and you will be successful with whatever you come in, because more than likely you're going to be doing something better than $2 skirts. You know what I mean?
Now that's so apropos what you're saying, so poignant, because a lot of times I talk to young people, and like I have a young producers program, and the first thing they say is, am I going to get paid for this? Am I going to get paid? And I said, let me tell you something. A lot of times you're going to work hard, and you're not going to get paid. But at the end of the day, if you're in a situation where you're working with a Willie Escobar, you're working with an Urban Wall Street, and you're gaining that experience and you're garnering that attention and that knowledge, that's priceless.
Right.
So that's more valuable than any paycheck a brother could pay you. Because I could pay you $250 and have you doing $1,000 worth of work, and the effort is priceless. What's your take on working with interns and giving that opportunity and encouraging people not to look for the dollar right off the top, Willie?
Well, my attitude in the very beginning was, I knew that God was going to present to me at certain times in my life great opportunity. I just have to recognize it. So if it was covered with the greed of wanting to make money, I was not going to be able to recognize that blessing. There were moments in my life where those blessings presented themselves, and I could have easily asked for a freelance fee or consulting fee, which I didn't have any experience with that either. Right. But I was able to say, this is an opportunity. I want to do this for free because I love doing this, and this guy I sense will get me to the next step. Now, that next step may end up with me in legal court with him fighting over a trademark name, hint, hint, which actually happened. So, but I was enjoying the next step. The next step was to do and get involved in the business via doing some freelance work for a good friend of mine named Leonard Rothschild, who had a couple stores in Chicago called The Lark, and was doing underwear for Pele Pele. Now, at the time, Pele Pele was on fire. Okay, we're talking about, 1994 or 5. It was on fire. The leather jackets were on fire. Mark Buchanan was on fire in Chicago area. So my blessing was I did it for free. What I received was congratulatory news where they did make money off the underwear. They made $2 million of What Magic, and Magic was bubbling at the time, which is a men's show in Las Vegas. They made a lot of money. He came back to me and said, you know what, I don't want to give this money to Mark Buchanan or Pele. Let's do our own thing, And that is where you have to recognize the opportunity and not really think about. There is balance in looking for the business aspect of it, but at the time that was not the time to really be aggressive business-wise. We were able to put something together. They gave me an opportunity to put Willie Escobar together, and that was me recognizing the lack of any kind of Latin presence in the marketplace, and it was always going to be a way for me to be the Latin perspective of what urban was going to be. So I wanted to make sure that in early hip hop, you had Eddie Chiba early in the game doing his thing in rap. I wanted to be that Eddie Chiba of clothing. I wanted to be that one dude, that Latin dude, like in a group of black people, say, yo, what's that Latin dude doing there? It had nothing to do with black or Latin. It had to do with the culture, and it brought in certain people in our area, which is New York City. That's where everything came from, like it or not. But that's where it grew from the urban areas of New York City. And that attitude allowed me to really get to the next phase and brand myself. My father had passed away at the time. I went to Puerto Rico, and I was able to put together the concept of Willie Escobar and be in that Latin perspective, knowing that the phrase, the moniker Esco was being used by Nas, and knowing that it would be in the brain of the consumer, knowing that putting a t-shirt in the marketplace with Esco on it will be picked up, whether they think it's Nas's or not, I don't care. I want it to be successful for my manufacturer who's backing me. I want it to fly off the shelves. They got to know me after that, but that was the clever ways of putting a brand together that, one, sell, two, fit into what I'm trying to do, and three, have a purpose in the marketplace.
And that's true. And I was going to say, I remember seeing, Willie Escobar, and it was Nas. That was my question, so you was in my head because I was going to lead to it. But a lot of people seeing like, that's when I became familiar with, Willie Esco. And people might have thought it was, like you said, Escobar, because he calls himself Esco, so he's like, well, it must be his. And like you said, listen, I don't care. Yeah. What moniker, what has to sell, what it is, just get it off the shelves. And that's a beautiful situation. Now, for some people need to realize, is it easy to get a premier, a rapper, a hip hop star in your clothing, or what's that challenge like?
Well, I seen it come full circle. So in the very beginning, I noticed that the rapper was going to be used as a vehicle to promote clothing lines. From LL early on, he was wearing Tupac was wearing Carl Kanai at the time. We'll get back to Tupac in a second, but
Troop
late, afterwards, but he really help put the branding mechanisms in the video at the time. I recognized that earlier, even though it was being done through magazine editorial, media editorial like that. I think the video was becoming a bigger aspect. And now keep in mind, I'm doing fashion, then you got video directors doing their thing, and they're breaking the molds in that area. So hip hop really opened up a lot of areas for a lot of people to make money, you know. And what I recognized was that the rapper was going to be instrumental. And at the time, rappers were not getting any respect from the fashion industry. So you give them a t-shirt, it pops up on TV. At the time, like I said, I wanted to tap into the consumer's mind automatically. So I put Escobar on there as a tribute to my family. You know, it's part of my family heritage. And I used it as a vehicle to get the exposure that I needed. And sure enough, Nas came knocking on my door. He came with Horace at the time. What's up, Horace? I don't know where Horace been at, but they came, you know, me mugging. But at the time, it was more like, who's using this? What's all this about? And I always told them, look, this is Latin first for me. If you want to get down, get down. And I'll make you some money if we want to make it together. And sure enough, I gave him a few pieces. Didn't know how the end of that meeting was, but I knew that he came with some sort of beef, but he came and he left with product and being happy with the potential to make more money. So before you know it, he was wearing it on MTV's Beach House at the time. And that's how I knew, all right, he's cool. You know, everything's good. And I was able to create a business structure with him where he was benefiting off the profits and everything. But, you know, I was able to do that with a number of rappers, but particularly to have the cosign of the guy who was using the phrase. And he was giving homage to a negative aspect to our society, which is Pablo Escobar, which I wanted to always say, you know, I'm trying to make it a positive name, you know what I mean? So I think that was important for me to get that message out. And me and Nas were able to do some good things from, I'm gonna say, from 98 to about 2001, before we falled out, you know, but who don't fall out with Nas? You know, shout out to Nas, we cool now, but it is a process you go through, understanding that the rapper became a vehicle and then the rappers got sharper and they understood that we can create our own vehicles. I control my marketing and management and merchandising to it. So they became even smarter, so we had to fall back a little bit, but now it's come full circle. Now a rapper can't get a clothing deal. It's all about back to fashion, starting from scratch. And that's what we're gonna start with the beginning. I'll show you what I'm baking and cooking up right now. And I'm still gonna be addressing the Latin market, but it also is addressing the fashion market.
So you already know what it is. We represent Sirius. So that's just a little history behind the man. It's much more depth to this gentleman. And if you was as fortunate as I am, you could sit here and pick his brain and like some of his intern. But now we're going to go check out flash forward to present day, Blanco Label. It's a serious situation. This thing is doing the thing in Europe, in the UK, and London. We see you out there, London, Sky TV. It's a beautiful situation.
I'll be out there in about a month or two, you know, Covent Garden, shopping, all that stuff. Sky TV. I wake up to Sky TV.
All right, that's what's up. So we got to go check out Blanco Label. Walk with us. So now we sit in the showroom, the Blanco Label, flash forward, present day. Some serious things are happening for my man, Willie Esco. But he's going to talk about the inspiration and what we're looking at right here. So Blanco Label, talk about it, bruh.
Blanco Label was my third endeavor. I was at Willie Esco, wasn't happy. Like as I mentioned before, I parted ways with my deal with Nas, and then my partners got a little cold feet, which is understandable. I got into a business where and understanding where hip hop in general, the youth are what drive this whole thing. So older rappers don't get as much love as younger rappers, and I understand that. Same thing happens with fashion. You know, you can be hot, but your hotness will only last for so long, and I understood that. Knowing that I had to move on faster than I would like to, I secured the licensing rights for Tupac Shakur and created a brand called Machiavelli Branded. That was instrumental because it gave me the freedom to really start the part 2 of Willie Esco. So when I was starting Machiavelli, my partners at the time also didn't want me to leave, but they wanted me to stick around, and they gave me the opportunity to help them relaunch Coogee. So I helped them relaunch Coogee, gave them the opportunity to do Machiavelli. They passed on it, so I brought it somewhere else. And that gave me a lot of freedom because I understood Tupac. I had met his mom when I was trying to find funding for Willie Esco. Didn't work out, and she remembered me, was able to secure the licensing deal that gave me the freedom, and also enlightened me to that the rapper game and doing fashion was so tight at the time. Like, if you weren't a rapper, you didn't have a clothing line. They didn't want clothing lines from any other off brands. So Tupac was, to me, the Black Elvis. A lot of investors at the time didn't realize that. So it was allowed me to get a bigger piece of the company, a bigger piece of the opportunity, and not knowing the potential of Pac by normal investors, realizing that he's dead. How can he promote the brand? I'm like, guys, he's Elvis for us, you know what I mean? And that ignorance on their behalf allowed me to get some freedom. That freedom manifested itself in about 2006, and I recognized that it's time for me to pick up where I left off with Willie Esco. Created a brand called Blanco Label. Within the Blanco Label, I knew it was going to be a two-tier brand, two-tier approach. Blanco Label is going to be for my Latin brothers and sisters where Latinness and their Latinness comes first. Like my man Mikey, you're going to be, seeing in a second. He's Mr. Latin, he's Mr. Puerto Rico, he's Mr. Reggaeton. He's the guy that came back into my life after doing Esco with me, and I partnered up with, and we created a brand called Blanco Label. But the other facet was there was a desire for me to stay connected to fashion at the most creative portion of it. So LCN was that portion that I was going to use as a think tank and creative portion of the brand that was going to drive all the watered down versions that Blanco eventually received. So this two-tier approach.
I got my man Mike right here. I want him to come over here because I got a quick question for him. Because I know he's like your right-hand man. He holds it down. He made this whole setup possible, so I want to thank him. I got my man Mike Jimenez in the place. What's good, brother?
What's going good? What's good?
So you're doing your thing with your partner, you know what I'm saying? And you get ups and downs of fashion, but family is family. What's this experience been like for you, brother? What's one of the greatest aspects of your day?
The greatest aspect is really just being around the brother and learning from him. He gave me the instrumental knowledge pretty much to get a career, be able to get myself afloat and do it every day,
Now he was talking a little bit earlier about, when he wanted to do this, he had to come back to the hood because, one gets out, then we come back. And he said, I want to do this for my people and I'm going to bring it back to you. But, unfortunately, a lot of us are illiterate or ignorant or misguided, and we want the trinkets. So he informed me that, he wanted to get everybody housed. We got to get houses out of this, and everybody wanted that change. So once you got on, got a little bit more literate, got your salary popping. I asked you, did you get that chain? Because some cats would still run out and get that chain. Did you get that chain, Mike?
No, didn't get the chain, but I can actually say that I'm working on getting my first home, and working on. I already got my car, I'm doing good. Got a good family, and I got a career, man. I got something that I can't say that I had 5 years ago. Coming out, not going to college and stuff like that. I actually got something to work for.
That's a beautiful thing. So
Compliments a lot of what I do here. I'm really creative. The technical aspect, anything you see, the ads, the website, the video footage, we do our little, interviews on our brands. He does all that. At the same time, he teaches me. So I'm not the guy that's gonna be like totally like I got to do everything myself. I will give homage to where it's due. He's the guy that does all the technical aspects.
So now we got Blanco Label. I know it's different places. I know you got some other interns. They're gonna come out. We're gonna talk to them, and just so they can understand, how important it is and their appreciation for it. So now we got the Blanco Label. Now look, I'm looking at some hot gear. What's some of the inspiration behind these lines, brother?
What you're seeing here is the LCN, and the way I've structured the company is a two-tier approach. The creative aspect of it is where I go to Europe 2 times a year, get inspired by what I see in Europe. I'll go to London, Amsterdam, I'll go to Paris, and get really the creative juices that I get there are manifested in LCN first. LCN stands for La Cosa Nuestra. LCN is for the shepherds of the fashion industry. Blanco Label are for the sheep. It's okay to be sheep. I'm sheep. I'm part of the Latin industry, and if I want to buy something on Puerto Rican Day Parade, it's because I'm sheep. I'm part of the gathering of being Latin. if I want to be a shepherd, if I want to lead, if I want to be the guy wearing something fresh in the club that really has nothing to do with being Latin, this is what you would buy, LCN. And it is really designed by a Latino, but that's where it ends. My themes and my perspective on everything does have a Latin twist to it, but you will not get that once you see it. You will really concentrate on the fabric, the silhouettes, and the product itself. So what you see here is two themes. One theme I focused on was Don Quixote, and another theme is Pamplona Running of the Bulls. And the two themes really are Latin in nature, but really you wouldn't be able to get it from what you see here. It's just nice product, some images from the book. He did carry a sword. He's really famous for the sword, so I did a blowout of the sword. A V-neck, which is sort of fashion forward on V-neck. You got your cape looks on a t-shirt, which you don't often see. A lot of cape looks, London fog looks are hot right now. Some basic t-shirts, and the Pamplona Running of the Bulls, you got depictions of the bull. We introduced our iconic logo. Our bull's head is what you're gonna see with all of LCN. This is our bull's head, skeleton bull's head. But really, Pamplona Running of the Bulls, you get your clothes wrinkled. Your excitement in checking out every time you see it on ESPN, the highlights of the annual running of the Bulls. Their clothing will probably get wrinkled, so a lot of this product will be shipped already pre-wrinkled and has a wrinkled, broken-in look to it. So I concentrate on the fashion aspect from beginning to end. What is it about Pamplona that I like? It was Spanish in nature, and it also has an opportunity where I can promote being green. If the product is worn wrinkled, you don't have to dry it. It doesn't give us the opportunity to waste the water and drying and all that stuff. So we have our green tags attached to this. It allows us to be environmentally aware and give a sort of a take to this. Still Latin in nature, but you wouldn't understand that if I didn't explain it to you. You just see nice product.
Now, speaking of aware, I want to bring real quickly a couple of interns, because I know we talk about that's real serious.
Now, interns don't often get some shout outs.
Right.
They are kind of lucky. And this comes with the evolution of what we're doing. Interns getting on camera. Before, Mike, did you ever get a chance to get on camera?
Come on, let's bring the intern. We gotta bring the interns. We got about a minute, but I want each of them, 20 seconds just to talk quickly, let the people know how important and how special it is to be doing this thing.
Tokes went to my high school, St. Benedict's Prep. He called me, said, I want to do this. At 16, I told him, you're way ahead of the game right now. You'll probably pass Mikey in the amount of millions made, but he's starting early, so that's the benefit of doing that, Tokes.
Well, my name's Tokes, and I'm just here grateful at the opportunity that Will and Mikey gave me. They're teaching me the game. They're teaching me what actually goes into making your own line, your own fashion line, and everything. Like Isaac told me today, another intern back there, he told me today that the line is 10% about actually making your fashion and 90% about the business side. So you got to learn a lot about the business side, because if you don't know a lot, people can swindle you out here. Never know. You can't trust anybody really out here. So.
What's going on? I'm Thompson. I'm just like Tokes over here grateful for the opportunity, because there's no other place where the work environment just helps you out, and creatively it's just such a challenge. And that's the only way you're gonna get better is if you're challenged. And I feel like every second I'm learning something, and I have 3 teachers, so I couldn't be in a better place right now. So.
Urban Walsh, you see my man Willie Escobar doing some amazing Blanco Label. This is hitting real hard out there. We're going to go talk to my man Willie real quick. We're going to finish it up. He's going to give you some sound advice for my people that's trying to get in the game. So keep watching. Blanco Label, it's a serious situation. Much love for the community, you heard? We do it like this. Urban Wall Street. Before we get out of here, I want to let my man Willie Escobar give my people that's watching and wanting the game 3 solid pieces of advice if you really want to do this. Willie.
Oh, okay. My what I live by, my mantra really is, number 1, of course, you got to get your education. Everybody has to finish out their education to where they see fit. They have enough knowledge to go into the marketplace and either get a regular job, 9 to 5, and or if you are lucky enough to be like one of my intern Tokes, recognize what you love to do. It's probably one of your hobbies. Probably does not seem like work. recognize what you want to do after you have your education. So it's education, recognize what you want to do, and then once I almost guarantee success if you doing what you love to do, because it's not work. It's just not work. So therefore, you can go to work 9 to 5, you can go to work like me 11 to 6. It's just not work. It's seamless. My days are seamless. I love what I do, therefore it is not work. The third thing is to pay it forward. You see, I have interns all around me. But by the time I retire this game, I want to have an army of interns that are more successful than myself, because that gives me a sense of being in life. I mean, I can attain a lot of money, I can attain a lot of success, but to see my brothers and sisters out here get something where they didn't seem it was possible, where it didn't seem attainable. The beginning of this game, I walked down this 7th Avenue, didn't know how to get in it. You're doing this for the same reason I'm doing it. It's to teach and educate the next generation. So you want to learn more a little bit about it, go to Facebook. I'm on Facebook under Willie Esco. We're on Facebook under Blanco Label. We're on Facebook under La Cosa Nuestra, Nuestra. BlancoLabel.com, of course, and under MySpace, Blanco Brand Label if you want to talk to Mikey and hit Mikey up. So you have all kinds of avenues to reach us. I answer all questions, but thanks for coming out here, because more importantly, to give people an understanding what it is to do this is my purpose in life.
Like we always say, you've been watching the Urban Wall Street Project. Stay focused, stay mindful, be mindful, keep your head in the game. Whatever you want to accomplish, you can. Put yourself in the right circles, and you will win. Until next time, peace. That was fire. My man Willie Esco upstairs, Blanco Label. Willie Esco, it's a serious situation. I hope you enjoyed that show. I hope you learned something. But they got some amazing things doing. If you're in Europe, check him out. He got his clothing line in London. I think it's called Dark. But check out the website. It's a beautiful situation. Yo, 1330 Broadway, Fashion District, Urban Wall Street on location. We're going to keep bringing you the fire. Till next time, peace. It's time to make it happen.